Good afternoon, everybody. Well, I'm really surprised. There's so many of you, and you look really good, everyone, healthy and shining, and something is not correct here, because I read in the newspapers that if you voted no, the apocalypse would start. The sky would pretty much fall down in your heads. But you seem astonishingly good, everyone. Well, we've seen it all. The scaremongering, the doomsday prophets, all the bad things that were going to happen to you if you had the nerve to say no. But the British have guts. You always had that. You had that during the wars. You don't let anyone bully you. And I'm so very proud to be actually a member of the EFDD group in the European Parliament and working with UKIP. It has been a complete privilege for me. I'm very good friends with all the UKIP MEPs, and I also was over here a couple of times during the campaigning when Nigel was riding around in the open-top bus, and I met a lot of British people, and it's very inspiring for me, because you have become the yardstick to all of the rest of us. You have become the beacon of light. You did what everyone said was impossible to do. Nigel went into that house and he said from the beginning, I will take my country out of the European Union. And they laughed at him. And are they laughing now? No. Also, for me and my party home in Sweden, it means a lot to us to actually have the cooperation we have with UKIP. It means a lot because you have become like a role model to us. You showed us this is possible. All it takes is to put all your effort into it, and that certainly UKIP has done. I've been there, I've seen them. The UKIP MEPs are working really hard in the Parliament. You can be sure of when there is a critical voice in the Parliament speaking out loud, you can be sure it's a UKIP MEP. It also means a lot for my campaigning home in Sweden to have the support of UKIP in my back. It gives me credibility because you've shown us that it's possible to do this. And I talked to Nigel, and he will of course also come to Sweden to visit us. Nigel is, I would say, in some parts bigger in Sweden than some Swedish politicians are. For me it has been quite astonishing journey I made. Most of you think I have worked 30 years as a lorry driver. Just by little chance, more or less, I got into politics. And then they thought from my party lead that I was a good speaker, and I had an easy way of explaining for people the problems we are facing now. And then I ended up down in Brussels. And coming down there, with not much previously experience, mostly from the local politics, it was a huge challenge for me. But I can tell you, from the first time we came into the group, UKIP became more or less like my family. They guided me all the way through. I all the time had their, cooperance. They helped me out every time it was something. And for me, it's like a family, and I have, of course, the privilege of having Nigel still there. He will remain and make sure they deliver Brexit, as you voted. So for me, I still will be able to work together with Nigel, which I hugely appreciate. And I believe there also will be a movement. We can see it started in many countries now that wants to leave the European Union. They more and more dictate what you are going to do. They tell your countries what you can do, what you cannot do. In Sweden, we have the situation that in politics, in Swedish politics, it's about 60% of the legislation from the European Union that affects what decisions we take. We cannot longer decide ourselves how we want to have it. And you have seen it on the news maybe. We are the country in Europe that are taking in most immigrants for this last year. We took in 163,000 people, and we are only close to 10 million inhabitants in Sweden. But if we count it per capita, we are the country in Europe that take in the most. We have a socialist government that is totally incapable to deal with the situation. We can see the very famous Swedish social welfare that's been so famous in many countries that we take care of our people, we take care of our elderly people, and now we can't. Because they spend the money in the completely wrong things. We have elderly people that cannot go to the dentist anymore. They can simply not afford it. And that is a disgrace. People who have worked their entire life, paid the taxes, should be able to do that. And we have, exactly like UKIP, we had been the voice that constantly point out the problem. What is the problem, what we need to do, and they have called us everything. And you have read it in the newspapers. They call us all the bad names that is possible. And now recently, just a year ago, the rest of the political parties started to adapt into our suggestions. Because we have said that for a long time. We can't no longer handle this massive immigration into our country. And now the other parts are saying that. But when we said it a year ago, and they called us all that names, then it was a huge problem to say those words. Now it's no problem. Now they call it necessary. And it's a responsibility they are taking to take care of the Swedish people. It's hypocrisy on a high level from the Swedish establishment. And we have seen it in the polls in Sweden as well. In several polls we are now the biggest party. We are having 7 different polling institutes, and we are all the way from 17 to close to 30%. And we will, just exactly as UKIP, continue to put the pressure on the other politicians to deliver. Because if you are a Swedish politician, or if you are a British politician, your main responsibility is to take care of your own country and not the rest of the world. And I'm sorry to say, but that's a huge amount of politicians that actually forget who voted for them. They forgot it completely. They live a very good life, plenty of money. They don't see the downsides of the dentist lines where you have to wait months and months to come to a dentist, and in the end you cannot afford it, so you have to cancel the time. But they don't see that, because they live a privileged life in many ways. For me, it's been so very important to stay with my feet on the ground. In my head, I'm still that lorry driver, and I will always be. I also have put in quite a lot of time as a substitute for Nigel, when he's been away campaigning, and I have to take over some of his duties in the EFDD group as a president. That means having dinners with the establishment, and I tell you, when you come to those dinners on what you call that, gold plate with gold-plated rims and silver forks and the wine and the crystal glasses, it's quite embarrassing. I remember that once when I filled in for him. It was a discussion about immigrants drowning in the Mediterranean, and while we discussed that, we had a 3-meal dinner: starter, main, dessert, very good wine, waiters were going around and serving the wine. It's actually quite disgusting. We are talking about people drowning, and they are supposed to be there where they are to solve the problem. And the only thing they are doing is eating their very good food. So I said when I got the microphone, this is disgusting. We are sitting here. And actually, one guy from Netherlands that spoke after me, he said, it's quite astonishing. It actually takes a normal truck driver to tell you what you are doing wrong. Isn't there really something wrong in the political establishment when they so totally lose the contact with the ordinary people and the responsibility they have in their positions? In Sweden, we will always be the guarantee for the ordinary people, the common people, the hard-working people that pay the taxes, because we strongly believe that we are placed in our positions to work for them. And they pay a very high amount of taxes, and then they should also be able to use the social welfare system. But we also have a lot of people coming in that never contributed anything into the system, but are taking out from the system very much, and that is totally wrong. Of course, if you are a Swedish or a British citizen and you have paid your taxes for your entire working career, of course you should be the one that is privileged when it comes to your health care and everything else. In Sweden, the Sweden Democrats will be that voice always for the ordinary people. And in United Kingdom, it always, as I see it, will be UKIP that delivers that voice. It's ordinary people that meets the ordinary people, that talk to the ordinary people, that listens to the ordinary people, and they don't give very much for the political establishment. And that is a quite astonishing work they are doing for you always. I will not take up too much of your time. We have more speakers to come on. I have my colleagues also waiting to speak here, but I will say this. You have had an excellent party leader. In Nigel, you have had a great person. He's a person that, in my eyes, pretty much sacrificed very much of his private life. As he said himself, he went into this completely. He gave it all. He said he would deliver, and he delivered. How many politicians do that? I also know Diane James very well, of course, since she's actually sitting just in front of me in the Parliament. Very nice woman. I think she will be an excellent party leader for you. But bear in mind, it's not easy to fill Mr. Farage's shoes. He's an icon. He's pretty much way up there where it's almost impossible to reach. So you have to remember, Diane will of course have her own way of being party leader, and you cannot really maybe compare to Nigel. But the rest of the team, the rest of the UKIP elected members will be there, you will be there, and you know what, together you will do a fantastic job. I'm quite firm in that position. Well, that's it, and it was a privilege, as always, to come here and meet all of you. It feels like coming home for me, almost like family. It feels like I'm speaking in front of my own party pretty much, because we have pretty much the same values, I would say. We believe in the little people. We believe in the right to raise the voice from the little people, that they should be listened to. That is what you are delivering. That is what my party is delivering. It's been a complete privilege, and I'm looking forward to meeting you again. Thank you very much.